Dr. Tracy Tyson. I'm a pediatrician, and my favorite thing to do for enjoyment as well as just for overall educating my mind, understanding the world around me. So I read as much as I possibly can, and I wanted to share a few books that I absolutely love that I feel like changed my life for the better. And I'll share a few of these more because obviously I have a bunch of them, but I'm not good at editing, so I'm just going to show you the book. So first one, Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. It is based on the David Copperfield book by Charles Dickens, and it is such an amazing fictional yet could be fictional book about the opioid crisis, especially in middle America. This is set in West Virginia, and it follows a young boy, Demon Copperhead, and how he is impacted by the policies around him, the opioid crisis, and how he manages to live through it. So it is a hard read. It is very uncomfortable. It is disturbing at times, so I would not recommend this for young people, but it has opened my mind in more ways than I can explain to you about addiction and the opioid crisis, part that the medical community had to play in it, and I think it's extremely important. I think everyone should read it. Next book, probably my favorite book of all time. I have a first edition here. I have it in a few different editions just because I love it that much, but I found this in a thrift store lately. So A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. It is a book written in the 1950s, I believe. And it's a coming of age story of a young girl growing up in Brooklyn and New York City in the early 1900s. Just what life was like during that time and what she went through. And she's a girl who's constantly thinking about the world around her, why things are the way they are. Does she have to fit into that mold or not? So anyone would love this book. However, as a young girl who always felt like this, always felt like I didn't quite feel like I belonged in the situations that I was in. Did I like the world around me? Did I have to do the things that were expected of me, or was I allowed to be different? This book has become part of my soul. So I think I've probably read it 20 times now. About every year I bring it back out and I read it again. And Francie just has a special place in my soul. And I hope if you haven't read it, you need to. It's really good. And it's a quick read. It's not long. Next one is Evicted. This book right here. This is by Matthew Desmond. This is a gut-wrenching nonfiction book about the rental crisis and housing crisis in the United States and how our housing market sets up people for poverty in the United States. And it is, again, one of those things that just blew my mind. I did not understand this ahead of time. It wasn't something I really thought of. Since reading this book, I have such a better understanding of the rental property issue in the United States, why things are so expensive, how they're not taken care of, how poverty begets poverty and becomes this cycle. So if you're interested in all, this is extremely well written. It is very good. Bite it off like a chapter at a time because it is hard to read. It's disturbing. So, but will open your mind, help you understand the world around you. It could be something that's life-changing. The Midwives by Chris Bohjalian. Chris Bohjalian is a Vermont author. I find that I like everything he writes. So if you're looking for like a specific author, he's very intellectual, so he writes things very intellectual. He really researches the topics that he writes about. And I feel like even when there's something medical, so this is about lay midwives, which are non-medically trained midwives that used to be really common, especially in places like Vermont. And it's a fictional story about a lay midwife. And the detail that he goes into with the medicine is spot on. So it's so good. Again, opened my mind a little bit to an entire area that I had no idea about. I didn't know anything about modern day midwives. And it's brilliant. It's really, really well written. And I think that anyone, whether you are someone who works more in the alternative medicine world or in the Western medicine world, doesn't know anything about any of it, would really like this book. It's good. The last one I'll talk about this time is The Lost Girls of Paris by Pam Jenoff. I love to read books about World War II. I think it's just probably my generation, being Gen X, we are very interested in that. This is heartbreaking. It'll break your heart. It's a little bit like The Nightingale. It's extremely good. Again, I'm a nerd. Whenever I read a book, I have to go research everything about it, and I'm a huge historical fiction fan. So I researched everything in this book for hours, and I've read it multiple times now, and every time I read it, I go back in. So it's one of those books that, like, I relate it to so many different things. I look it up, I research about it. I hope these books are something, if you have read them, let me know what you thought about them. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. They're all books that I feel like I will always have in my collection. If I ever lose one of them for some reason, I end up going back and getting another one because I just feel like I need to have it as like a comfort item. So if you love to read, these are places to start, and I'll try to think of some other ones to add to here too. Bye.